Mashley Comedy presents
Funny Girls Guide,
your weekly podcast on how to live your life shamelessly with a laugh. And we are two of your funny ladies here reporting live. I'm Ashley Ella Park, joined with the sparkling, wonderful, beautiful, I always want to say iridescent, but it's incandescent. I don't know, but she's fucking wonderful. That's all you need to know.
Oh my God. I love when you introduce me. It really sets the tone for my day. Thank you. I'm Mandy.
Oh yeah, this is Mandy.
I'm Mandy. I'm becoming a new woman today. When I go through changes in my life, which we'll talk about another time. I do shit to my hair, and that's what I'm doing. I'm going back to black today with some highlights. Going
like Amy Winehouse. Let's go.
I actually am gonna put on like a dramatic red lip. I'm turning into a witch. I am getting my hair. I'm going like black with highlights underneath.
It's gonna be so beautiful. You're gonna look like Stevie Nicks.
Yes.
Like it's gonna be wonderful. Well, I can't wait.
I feel like that then I have to have I want my boobs to be up like really high like yours.
Oh well, thank you.
Ashley's boobs look amazing.
It's just this top.
They always do.
It's a Glamazon top. It's a workout top.
Oh my God, I like it.
You went to ACL and we had a fucking weekend, y'all. Like holy shit. Like we had a fun packed weekend.
I feel like I could just relive that weekend forever. I mean, it would be exhausting. Like the other two friends that we were with.
We need sleep.
We do need sleep. Yeah. So I had no idea what backstage meant. I don't know how I didn't know, but like I didn't really understand
like what's gonna happen.
So my friend Jen came in from Los Angeles and she had these like special passes for us.
Shout out
her
to
husband.
Jen.
Thank you so much, Jen. Her husband is vice president of touring for Live Nation, and so we started out at Soho House. Ashley came and met us, and we had like cocktails at lunch. We like went for it,
and it was so nice. Like like when you meet new friends or like your friends' friends, you're like, okay, like let's see how this like goes. Hope we vibe. Like your friends are so fucking sweet and nice, and like just like precious. Like both Foxtrot and Jen.
Foxtrot and Jen. Yeah. I feel like everybody's in like a good place, and like you're like in a good place to be like open to like, I'm like, they want to learn about you. You know what I mean? Which is nice. Like, tell me about you. Like, like it's so nice.
That. And speaking of friends, I'm sorry, I have a little house guest that's here.
A little house bunny.
Come.
She's like, who, me?
Come. We've got England's beautiful Spanish rose, Mexican rose, right? That's a thing.
Spantexican?
A Spantexican rose. We have THERESA Sandoval. We're recording.
Oh, shoot. I was like, are we just on the radio?
No, you're going to be on the next podcast. Y'all, this is a VIP.
You don't know me, but I'm kind of a big deal. People know me.
It's true. You've been like our hype woman, and like I didn't even know it. And like you were just like, you bring such good energy.
Yeah, I know.
You're welcome.
I'm really positive vibes. I mean, this bitch and I have been through.
I think you got to tell your joke about.
Oh yeah, I am the Yolanda Saldivar to these two Selenas, just without the murder.
Yeah, minus the murder,
minus the end, maybe.
Yeah.
But time will tell.
I feel like
time will tell.
It's always too soon for a Selena joke, and I accept it. Like, I accept.
It comes from a place of hurt, but also a place of admiration. And also just the fact that I am the president of your international fan club.
Oh, my God.
We need to get live reports. We're going to like cue you in whenever we have like questions on the royal family or something. Go, THERESA, what's going on over there? So THERESA lives in London, y'all. And she's back visiting. Shout out to Simon, her husband.
Yeah.
Sup, babe? Love you.
Kisses.
He better be listening, honestly. I'm sending you back with business cards. I feel like you're hyping us way more than we are capable of hyping ourselves.
I know.
We're like, amazing. I don't know.
We're so clueless sometimes. I'm like, oh yeah, we have a podcast. Like people are like, what do you do? I'm like, oh, we do this, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, I've got a podcast. Like, okay, tell me about that. I'm like, oh yeah.
Ladies, I will let you get back to it. Lovely Mashley community. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. I'm not a YouTuber or anything, but yeah, these gals are great. So,
hello, THERESA.
She's incredible. She's incredible. She's a star.
Mwah.
She's a
Safe
star.
travels back to London.
Have a great day at work, sweetie.
Right now.
She's not. She's going to work. I'll text you.
Oh my gosh.
Make sure no one is mean to you at work.
Yes, I will
I'll kill them.
To you.
It's on record.
Oh my gosh. But if you do, I want to watch, honestly.
I know.
She was standing here and was laughed so hard that she spit water out.
It was
and
incredible.
I was like, it was iconic.
Yeah, it was. It was so iconic. Also, THERESA does the San Antonio Viper just like me.
Oh my God.
So it's like,
I feel like it's part of me now too.
I know,
by
like,
proxy. Okay, but wait, what I wanted to tell you was
We're
like
back.
after we left Soho House, Ashley had a wedding. You were in like wedding season, which we
It's
need to talk about
wedding
next. She is in like
season.
high wedding. You are like the high priestess of these all these weddings.
Oh my God,
Ashley's
I
like an
know.
important player in all of them.
I'm trying to say I'm an important player in the wedding season. I'm basically a Mary pole flag. What am I trying to say? What are those things that
I'm
they
just gonna
dance
let you
with?
keep going on.
What the fuck is it? Maypole.
A maypole.
Maypole.
So listen.
Maypole. It's a stripper
Ashley
pole.
has an old soul and old parents. This is how she knows these things. Like, I love that about you because I was like raised by my grandparents. So I'm like, I have an old person inside of me, and I appreciate the old person inside of you. We've lived a million lifetimes. But wait,
so
I need to
true.
tell you this story because I literally had no idea going from like 3 cocktails at lunch at Soho House. I have a cocktail that I like there, but I can't remember.
Good.
This like
But we can't.
it starts with a P and it's spicy. I want to call it a Paloma, but that's not it. Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway, I had 3. We go and Jen's like, okay, well, like Omar's here with like the car or whatever. I'm thinking it's an Uber. No, we go and we get in a black car and we are driven to the back lot to this like, I feel like we were like on a like Jurassic Park tour. Not only that, but I had like my green rain boots on. Like, I don't know. I think I put it on our Mashley. No, maybe
You
not.
were ready for anything.
I was ready for anything. I still have a giant gash in the side of my leg from wearing the rain boots with low socks. Anyway, so
we all make mistakes. I've made that mistake before. It's dangerous. Really dangerous.
Okay, so the other girls had Band-Aids. I'm like, I am learning so much by having a little bit more like, I'm like, I've been like going out a little and having a little autonomy. And if you guys know, I have 3 kids and I'm like, I was very like I mentally couldn't get past being like, oh no, I have to go home at this time. I could only do one day. I fucking went for it. I got childcare coverage, mat, and we were good. Anyway, so we get dropped off like to a golf cart. And so then the golf cart, usually ACL, you have to like go through like this insane security, all this stuff. No,
you have to
we
walk
hop on
forever.
A golf cart, and then the golf cart takes us to like another area and we go up this metal ramp and I'm like, holy shit. We are going on the stage. I literally have goosebumps saying this. We went on the stage with Machine Gun Kelly.
Amazing.
It was insane. Like, I literally have goosebumps. And they're like, just don't stand in front of like the girlfriends. So like we just like, you can go anywhere, just don't stand in front of the girlfriends.
Wait, okay. So
oh, my joke. No.
Do I look like him though?
Do you look like Machine Gun Kelly?
Yeah.
You were the perfect Machine Gun Kelly for me. Like,
perfect.
We need to drop that picture again because, wait, I made a bad joke.
Yeah, y'all, this is the funniest fucking thing. I literally laughed out loud. Like, okay.
Like, if Ashley had been there to hype me, I feel like it would have gone over better.
I would have died.
Okay, so the night before, I went and saw Foxtrot and Jay for dinner.
Okay.
And they're like, do you want to go to Machine Gun Kelly tonight? He was like playing another show. And so we're there. We got to go to with Stubbs has like a backstage area that I didn't know. If you guys haven't been to Austin, Stubbs is like one of the iconic
great venue to see a show. Venue. It really is.
It's not trashy at all.
No, and you have a great view of the stage. It really is 5-star. I do recommend.
Don't be turned off by being called Stubbs Barbecue. It is like it's a concert venue. It's so cute. They have this VIP area that I didn't even know about. And so after the concert, I think it was Machine Gun Kelly's manager came up to us and he's like, do you guys want to go back and meet MGK? They call him MGK. And I was like, in my head for a split second, I was like, should I tell the joke that's in my head or should I leave it? And I was like, be yourself, Mandy. And I go, yeah, but like, what if he thinks we're Megan Fox? And he goes, he's very loyal and he would not, no offense, but he would not think that.
Which I'm like, if I had been there, A, I would have died laughing, and B, I would have been like, oh, really? And I probably would have pulled up the photo
of me dressed as Megan Fox and Ashley as Machine Gun Kelly. Can you please add that into the thing? Like, we need to have that picture of us pop up because, like, when I looked back on it, you sent it to me actually after I told you the joke, and I was like, oh, dang, we looked good.
We looked really good.
Like, your tattoo shirt, if we could have we should have duct taped your boobs down.
I know, my boobs are so big. Like, and he's
extremely
so
skinny. He's actually, because we were then after everybody goes off the stage and we were just part of his like après crew. But he's very skinny. Like, he's very hot.
Interesting.
Like, I think he's hot.
I find him to be too gaunt.
He's too gaunt, but
no
like
offense,
he like can play a guitar. That's very hot.
Yeah, I mean, that's nice. It is nice.
And he actually, okay, this is the weird thing. Like, I thought he sounded so good. I was like, wow, he sounds really good. But then you listen to it, like I've heard a couple times on the radio, it's like ACL, like MGK at ACL, and he sounds fucking terrible.
Weird.
Like on the recording.
Huh.
Somebody told me like maybe they were just recording from the speakers. I don't know.
Yeah. And that could have been it too.
Yeah.
Damn.
Sorry, that was my phone.
Quite all right. We've got like 10 minutes. You've got to get your hair done.
I've got to get my hair
girl.
done. Okay, so we have an amazing guest. You've heard her sister on here who did tarot and like witchy stuff with us, and she's coming back on next week. We're doing sister.
Excited to have the double papa.
The double papa. They and you know what Ashley said after we interviewed her, you're like, they both have this like light about them.
They do.
Like they're special. They're special people.
They are. Like there is something really special about I can't explain it. Like when you see them, like their faces are gorgeous.
Yeah.
But then also like they're just beautiful people, but then there's a light that like comes from, I can't explain it, where I'm like, okay, these gorgeous girls, here we are, and then they're just like exuding positivity.
They just like know shit, like naturally like sage and like kindly magnetic. I think
it's like a
what
warm blanket of kindness. I can't explain it, where I'm like, I like you, like just instantly, like you're like, I like you.
Yeah. So Abra is she does food and nutrition. She her handle is at Abra Pappa, ABRAPAPPA, and I think you guys are really going to enjoy this interview. We had so much fun with her and we learned a lot, and I've been putting so much more olive oil on my salad.
Me too. I've been drowning my food. I'm like, let's go.
Because she gave us like a tip of a lifetime that I'm like, okay. And it's like, it's just like a really well-balanced mental approach to wellness.
Yeah.
So yeah, here we
have
go.
a listen. Okay, Abra, we are joined today with Miss Abra Pappa. Welcome.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here.
We're excited to have you on.
Yay.
So if you guys listened to our episode with Becky, that's Abra's sister, Becky Pappa, who is, she did tarot with us and she's an art therapist. And so we're going like total wellness with you, Abra, today, because you do nutrition and general wellness, and you have all these amazing recipes on your Instagram, and you just give her like amazing advice on how to take the best care of yourself that you can.
Yeah.
What's your philosophy?
Yes. Oh my gosh. What's my philosophy? I mean, I have a lot of philosophies. And my philosophies have morphed and changed a lot through the years. I've been in practice for a little over 15 years, and it's really interesting to sort of see how you change in the space of wellness as you grow as a practitioner and as you work with more and more people. I think if I were to just, bring it down to one like nugget, my hope is that I can share that wellness is joyful. It's really joyful. And that if we're engaging in any kind of, whether it be a dietary shift or a lifestyle shift or an exercise shift, and it doesn't spark joy in some way, it's probably not the right shift for you. Because the truth is that when we feel better, we are more joyful, but it just, we have to navigate this very, very complicated world around wellness and complicated sort of diet culture to find our path and our way that feels good.
I love that. So when you get a new client coming to you and they're like, all right, I need to make some dietary changes. I've been eating, we're in Texas, so we've been eating Whataburger for breakfast or whatever. What's like, I mean, like this hits close to home for me, wink, wink. What are like some of the first steps that you suggest for people of like, all right, we're going to make these lifestyle changes. Do you try to like throw them in the deep end, or are we like stepping into the shallow end?
Yeah, we're definitely stepping into the shallow end. And I think that's one of the big changes that I've made as a practitioner through the years. So, in full disclosure, a lot of the work that I do in this space of specifically clinical nutrition is that I do work with a lot of disordered eating. And so I'm very, very, very sensitive to how damaging food interventions can be if they're not executed properly, right? And I do believe that just about just about anything can fit into a well-managed diet as long as we sort of understand how it fits. And so doing this sort of big overhaul, like let's say somebody comes to me and is like, I've just been eating like the worst, like foods that just are not supportive. I don't feel good. We have to sort of take a step back. My very, very first thing that I do is I always encourage curiosity. Like, I just want people to get a lot more curious about their behaviors with food, the why behind it, releasing some of the judgment, like, oh my God, I'm just so lazy. I don't feel like cooking. And so I'm going to eat this. Is it really laziness? Or is there something else going on? So if we can become a little bit more curious, then we're approaching any type of dietary change from a very, very different place. So first step is curiosity. That's my go-to.
It's a good thing with anything in life. I feel like curiosity is like, should be our charging factor in everything.
Yeah, I completely agree. I totally agree. Because then it also, any shift is happening from you, right? Not from I don't know, specialist or an expert that's saying this is the change you have to make. It's more coming from a place of, oh, maybe this habit isn't serving me, or, oh, that is curious. Like, I am always hungry at 3 p.m. or always want something sweet at 3 p.m. Like, what is happening there? That is curious. Maybe there is something that I can shift here. So it's a little bit of a different kind of a navigation.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a really like healthy mindset way to do it, because like when it's coming from you from a place of curiosity and not in judgment of yourself so much, it makes it like, I don't know, like you're taking care of yourself, taking care of like your brain and your body.
Yeah, exactly. And that's, it sounds cliche, but that really is how we turn dietary changes into a lifestyle shift that feels good, as opposed to, I'm going on this diet because I have a wedding in 2 weeks and I need to look a certain way. You know what I mean? It's a very different thing.
On yourself.
Yeah.
We had a life coach on who's a friend of mine too, and she was like, it's like shoulding on yourself is like really hard on you. Like, oh, I should do this because of the wedding, and then you don't end up doing it because it's not really from like
exactly.
Where you like
exactly.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
What drew you to wellness at the top? Because we've had Becky on, of course. We have like 2 gorgeous blondes who are like introspective. They're wellness focused. They're well-rounded. Like, I love it. So like, have all of y'all been like this? Or is this something like later, like, you're in college, you're like, well, this is drawing like a moth to the flame.
I think there are two big events that sort of brought me to this space. One of which is that Becky and I grew up with hippie dippy parents. And my experience growing up, she's the baby. She will always be the baby.
Oh.
I still call her my baby sister, and she's, in her later 30s. But our parents were total hippie dips. And, like, I grew up with, my mom had mason jars of herbs in our kitchen and only did home remedies and cooked every single thing from scratch. And like, it was this sort of appreciation of food and medicine and herbs as medicine, and living this like very like hippie, running around barefoot kind of life. And I noticed pretty early on that we were weird. You know what I mean? Like, oh, it's not normal to go to school with like sprouts hanging out of your sandwich. Like, it's not normal that we don't have tasty cakes at home. That's not all my friends are living in kind of a different way. And, but it didn't bother me. Was also interesting. Like, we were very happy. We were just like prancing around in the mountains and like, we're happy kids. Becky's experience growing up was a little different, because at the time, my mom then, when Becky was younger, my mom had a full-time job. And so it looked different, right? Still really connected to real food. We've always cooked. Everyone in the family is an incredible cook. Cooked like from scratch, real food. That has been a big mantra in my family. So I had that as sort of, that grounding piece, that substance that helps mold who you are as a person. And then my career path in my early 20s in college, et cetera, I was in musical theater. So my path was like, I'm going to be a performer. And I moved to New York to audition for Broadway. And I did all of the things, which meant that I worked as a bartender, right? Like, which Becky and I also have in common, because she also, wanted to be an actress. So there was that path that here I am there. I understand this concept of wellness and real food, and it sort of stayed with me for a bit. But then I found myself for so many years in the city, just completely burnt out from work. Like, you know, the 14-hour, 16-hour restaurant shifts, bartending shifts where you're just like bone tired is a very true sentiment. Like you could feel tired in your bones. And I always say, like, I truly had this like breaking aha moment at a health food store on 8th Avenue in New York City in Midtown. I just couldn't, like, I literally couldn't take it anymore. It was years into that kind of work. I was so exhausted. I literally like broke down. It's like, I'm done. I can't keep this work. I felt at war with my body, constantly at war with my body. I wasn't feeding it properly. I wasn't taking great care of it. And then I'm going into auditions, and no matter how thin I was or how much weight I had gained, my body was always wrong, right? Casting directors were always saying, you need to lose more weight. 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 And I was like, this isn't the life I wanted. This isn't the creative, expressive life that I envisioned. And on my way out of the health food store, I literally tripped over a brochure for a nutrition program, and I was enrolled within 48 hours. I was like, things have to change. Like, this is not just, I need to change my diet. I have to change everything. Complete revolutionary shift. And that brought me into this space of nutrition. And I started out, after that program, I started out actually as a personal chef. So I worked for a couple of years, like working as a personal therapeutic chef, I called myself. So cooking very nourishing therapeutic foods for individuals that had been diagnosed with a condition. And then I sort of transitioned into this one-on-one because I just wanted that connection piece. I wanted to serve and help in a different way than I had been able to, certainly in my no career as a musical theater performer, like my career as a bartender. And then sort of, you know, just really creating connection and change and wellness. And then since then, I've went back and got my master's degree in functional nutrition, and work really deeply clinically with individuals. And I think I always bring in some of that root of like the hippie, witchy herb upbringing that we have, right? And then my own experience of burnout and being at war with my body, and how that transformed my own relationship with nutrition, and how fundamental food is in my life. Like, I'm not a nutritionist that's going to say like, just go and get that, you know, that like plain chicken and like just steam some broccoli. No, like if it's not delicious, it's not worth it. So let's find a way to make all the foods that are going to serve you the most delicious they can possibly be, right? I am so pro butter. Like, butter's wonderful in all ways. It's wonderful. So yeah, that's been my journey of bringing in some of the roots piece, and then finding my own place in this world.
Oh, I love it.
I've seen your Christmas spreads on Instagram stories that Becky has posted, because your mom will do like multi courses, and it's like so beautiful. And I remember when Becky and I were like end of college, I had an eating disorder, and I never talked to anybody about it, but I was like, I felt comfortable enough with Becky to be like, will you ask your sister? And this is probably 15 years ago. So it might've just been when you started. But I remember asking her, like, will you ask Abra for me? Like, am I like not getting my period because I'm not eating enough? And she relayed back to me like, yeah, probably. But then I learned a lot from Becky about like how to be able to like eat sort of like what you wanted. And at the time too, this is when it was like super skinny was like what it was all about, which reminded me when you were saying about the casting directors too. Do you feel like I feel like it's changing a little bit? Who knows? But like everything was about being super skinny, but I watched her making like these shrimp and mango tacos, and I was like, oh my God, like you can eat all of that. Like you can eat like what you want and still, I don't know, like feel good. It's like eating like real food, real food.
Yeah.
I can't believe it's not butter, which is like what I said.
Oh God, no. I can't believe it's sitting on a shelf and not in the garbage can. Like, needs to be thrown away.
I used so much Splenda like during that time that if I would sweat, I would smell like Splenda.
Oh no.
So I mean, and that's a poison, right? Like that's a poison that we're putting. And it's so funny how we convince ourselves that like, no, that's healthy because I'm not having sugar. So instead we choose this like neurotoxic poison and say that's a better thing to put into my body. But again, it's like, if the pursuit is the thinnest we can possibly be, I say all the time, weight loss diets are not health promoting diets. Very rarely, very, very rarely are they health promoting diets, right? I'm more concerned with a health promoting diet where you can live, live a good, full, happy life.
Yeah. It's true. Cause I mean, I think like so many people are motivated. Well, I have to lose weight. I have to do this, instead of treating their bodies like this is the engine that gets you through life. You need to take care of it.
Yeah, exactly. And do you have the energy, right? Like, do you have the energy to do the things that you want to do in life? Are you sleeping well? How are you feeling? Thinking about that piece as opposed to just a number on the scale dictating. And that's really hard coming from somebody that worked in a world where that was it, right? According to casting directors, like, you're not thin enough, you're not going to get these roles. Now, I don't think it was ever really about that at the end of the day. You know, they made it about that, and certainly it's a piece of the story back then. And I do hope that tide is shifting and changing. I have been out of that space for so very long. But yeah, when you're thinking about, well, how is this food making me feel? Like, if I'm sweating out Splenda, right? If I smell like Splenda when I sweat, is this food serving me on a deep level? Is it supporting my health?
Yeah, definitely.
And it doesn't lend to that, like seeing, for example, like your Christmas spread or like the food that you make. That to me is like, you know, like mindful eating and being actually able to like really enjoy and be present for like your meal and preparing it and eating it. Like Splenda is not to be savored the way
right.
environment.
Exactly.
No one's gonna say I loved that Splenda dish at Thanksgiving.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But like once you make the shift, now that I'm like, I have 3 young kids, and I'm like, ever since I was pregnant with my daughter, it took a long time for me to get to like the wellness shift in my head. But like you can get there. Like it takes time. But now I'm like, I only eat things that are like real, like no fake foods. And I can taste it immediately, even in gum. I'm like, oh, there's only like certain gum I can chew because I'm like, you can taste when it has like fake ingredients in it.
Sure, of course you can. Yeah, absolutely.
So
go ahead.
How do you help people get to like bridge the gap between being like, you know, knowing what you're supposed to do and then finally getting to that, like, okay, my mind is here where I'm like, I just want to take good care of myself and feel good.
Oh my gosh, I wish I had like a 1-sentence answer for that. You know, I wish it was an easy journey, but it's not, because within that, there's so much dismantling of deeply held beliefs around body size, dismantling of diet culture, isms that we have lived with as that become part of our own theories of life. You know, it's a transition. It's a transformation, and it's a transition. I mean, I do think part of it is really truly listening to your body, being able to tune into what your cues are, not what your friend's doing, not what I always say, like your Aunt Susie's diet, not what like, you know, the newest diet trend is. Like, intermittent fasting is the thing. It's like, I can't tell you how many clients come to me, I'm doing IF. Well, that's great. What does that mean for you? How does that feel in your body? What is that? So I think that's the first piece of it, is trying to really crowd out all of that noise around food and diet and be able to pay attention to what it is that you feel and you want. So then we can start to make choices that really makes sense for you as an individual, not because it's a dogma or a theory or an ism that we've been taught.
If this is going to be a weird question. Okay.
Good. Let's do it.
You're picking out a team for dodgeball, and before you are the players. It's food. You have different food items. Who were your top picks for this food dodgeball team?
Is this for me? Like, this is for me?
For you, or just maybe even a new client of like, all right, you need this. This is the captain of the team. Like, put them in.
So first of all, I know nothing about sports, so let's start there. So you could tell me that there's 72 players on a dodgeball team, and I'd be like, cool, let me choose 72 foods. So I think, first of all, every person is going to be completely different. And I know that that's a hard, a little bit of a frustrating thing to hear, because it's like, we just want the answers. Like, we just want the answers. But I think across the board, if we were just to say, what are most people deficient in? Like, if I look at a population and just United States of America, not world population, but
Europe's
United
different.
States of America, Europe's very different. But, what we're most deficient in is vegetables, like dramatically deficient in vegetables. So on my team, I'm definitely going to put some like good dark leafies. Like, it might be a cruciferous, like a broccoli or a Brussels sprout hanging out as team captain. Maybe it's a kale, but I know like it's been given a little too much media attention. I think we could shift it away from kale and allow somebody else to shine a little bit.
I heard that romaine is more nutritious than kale, and I don't know if that's true or not. I don't know, but someone told me that, and I was like, what?
No, that's not true. From my knowledge, that is not true at all.
we got him. Okay, the truth has been unfolded.
Yes, exactly. But that might come from, because here's where we get into like this is where like the nerd hat's going to come on. So, be prepared. This is where we get, and maybe the nerd glasses, where we get into the nuance of like nutrition as a science, is that kale and cruciferous vegetables in general, there's a lot surrounding the idea of how healthy they are. So are they in fact healthy for every individual? Well, there are some practitioners that would say if you have a thyroid disorder, that you actually want to limit the amount of cruciferous vegetables that you're eating because of how it inhibits a thyroid hormone. Is that true? To some degree, that can be true. So it depends on a condition that we're working on. I think the benefits of cruciferous vegetables will outweigh in a huge manner the potential concern with thyroid disorder, depending on the person. Then we get into things like, what happens in diet culture when we don't put any dressing on our salads? Well, congratulations, you just made a salad about 80% less nutritious for you, because greens contain fat-soluble vitamins, which means they have to be eaten with fat in order for your body to absorb those vitamins.
What?
So yes, so this like whole nonsense around like, don't put dressing on, or just or oil-free, or give me a break. Number one, it's not delicious, and don't try to convince me it is delicious to have a dry salad, because it's not. And number two, you're not even getting the nutrients then. Vitamin K is one of the most unbelievable abundant nutrients in dark leafy greens that we need, and you're not absorbing any vitamin K without fat. So what are we doing?
Praise baby Jesus, we can keep the dressing.
You just make my day.
Dressing.
I know.
Yes.
That is like the most important thing I've learned this entire year.
Oh my God,
that makes me so happy.
I can't wait to tell everyone that. And you know what I'm obsessed with right now? Scarlett, my 11-year-old, loves it too. We just put like probably too much olive oil. I put a lot of olive oil on, and salt and lemon, and that's it. And it's like so delicious.
It's so delicious. It's so delicious. So that's one of the sort of leftovers from growing up, is that we had a Papa salad on the table every single night growing up, like every night, a Papa salad. And Becky and myself and my sister and my brother, like my whole family, at any point, the thing we crave the most is salad. Like, it's what we want. But our salad was always olive oil, salt, pepper, usually garlic powder, sometimes oregano, and either vinegar or lemon juice, and we would mix up the vinegars. But like, Becky and I drink the bowl after the salad, like drink it down. That's one of the ways that Becky bonded with her current husband. Like, on one of their first dates, they both like picked up their bowl and drank it. And I was like, oh my God, you guys are made for each other. Made for each other. Yes. But like, that's such a simple thing, right? It's olive oil. And if you don't put enough on, it's okay. When you said too much, you're not putting too much olive oil on. The cultures in the world, what's considered the blue zones, right? The pockets of the world where people live to be the oldest, live the longest, most of them are Mediterranean cultures, but what they all have in common is they use fat abundantly. Crete, the island in Greece, they're a blue zone. Go ahead and try to go to Crete and say, don't put too much olive oil on. Everything is like,
does not exist.
No, it's drowning in olive oil, which is so rich in those monounsaturated fats that are wonderful for heart health, just great all around. So yes, the olive oil, little salt, or a lot of salt, because that's the Italian side of me. Lemon juice, vinegar, I'm in. I'm totally
I
in.
love it. Okay,
Yeah.
so everyone's been trying to go more meatless recently, which, like, you know, great for the environment, all that, good for your health, all that, like, get that. Do you have like a fan favorite for like non-meat options? Like, is the Impossible Burger, like, it just kind of freaks me out a little bit because it does look too much like meat. I'm like, what sorcery is this?
Right.
But
all right,
is
so
there
this
like
is
one that's better?
This is going to be controversial, but I'm just going to throw it out there. So I don't live by any dogmas, which I think you've probably already gathered. And I absolutely work with clients that are plant-based, right? Meat-free, only if it's for ethical reasons. If people come to me that are vegan for health reasons, most of the time I'm going to encourage them to actually add animal protein to their diet, because for most people, especially in the instance of autoimmune disease, which we have a massive rise of autoimmune disease, most people with autoimmune disease actually need animal protein to thrive. So there's a lot of misconceptions around that piece to start. Then we're moving into, okay, so now I understand the concept of bringing in more plants, because my sort of moniker is mostly plants. Like, eat as many plants as you can, like have animal protein, have your butter, have your dairy, have all of it, but eat as many plants as you possibly can, because I think they're so abundant with nutrients. But now we're creating these fake foods to mimic animal protein. And if I were to put up for you right now, like a side by side of Impossible Burger, Beyond Burger, and grass-fed beef burger, 100% the most nutritious option is going to be your beef burger. Even in the case of people with cardiovascular issues where we're concerned about cholesterol, et cetera, I'm still going to choose the beef burger. And they're just the other sort of alternatives are so heavily processed, and what they're relying on is what we call industrial seed oils, or like canola oil, vegetable oil, et cetera. That tends to be the base of most of these products, and they're pro-inflammatory. So we're just adding inflammatory foods to the diet. So if you're going plant-based, if you want a more plant-based option, I would choose a veggie burger, right? That has maybe some quinoa, maybe some grains, maybe some black beans, right? Like a legume. I would way prefer that over these sort of artificially produced, processed meat-like products.
That makes sense. Yeah, it does. And we have P. Terry's here. It's kind of like our In and Out, and they have a black bean based veggie burger that is delicious. I mean, it is really, really good. Like, it's so like amazing. And it's one of like the few places that don't have like the Impossible Burger. And I feel like every place has the Impossible Burger.
I know. I'm kind of creeped out by the fact that it looks like meat too. It's like, why? Then have meat.
The first one that I got, I was like, I asked the waiter, and I feel so bad. I was like, are you sure that this is like actually vegetarian? Because I've been a vegetarian since I was 7, and it's really not a moral issue. I just don't want it in my mouth. Maybe I can get this. No, but like I do eat crab cakes. Like that's the one thing that I'll eat. So random, but like the spider of the sea, I will eat, but the rest of it, I can't do it. I just can't do it. I don't want it in my mouth.
They are the spider of the sea.
Yeah, they are totally the spider of the sea, but that's adorable. I mean, that's a different thing too. That's a preference, right? That's a preference. Like you're saying, I don't like to eat animal protein because of a preference. It doesn't like taste good to me.
Yeah.
And you got to enjoy that food, girl. That's like our biggest takeaway.
Right. This is it. If you don't enjoy it, what's the point?
I feel like I don't know how I've had a shift from like being, so I have hypoglycemia, but I feel like I'm sort of like growing out of it. I don't know. I've had it since I was little, but I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing in my diet that has helped, but something has helped.
Well, sometimes just change. Like that's the other piece, is that we are ever evolving as humans. So there are a lot of things that are going to contribute to health that are just outside of the nutrition world. Lifestyle is a huge impact. Stress is a huge impact. I mean, stress is one of the key contributors to high blood pressure, high cholesterol, definitely blood sugar issues, definitely adrenal issues. So there are things that are going to impact our physiology that has nothing to do with our diet. So sometimes we change lifestyle factors, and that has just as great an impact as like adding in more, more vegetables.
Yeah.
Okay, so that makes total sense. When you feel yourself getting off balance, because this is something that I'm learning, like even like a therapist or a guru or somebody that has like, found their enlightenment, it's always a balance. So even with food or whatever, if you feel like your body is getting off balance or you feel off balance, what's the first thing you do to take care of yourself?
Me? What's the first thing I do? I love this question, first of all. I think this is such a great, smart question because we do all have moments where we feel ourselves getting off balance. And I love creating a toolkit for clients that helps them navigate that time, because you're so spot on that happens and we don't always know how to go there. So for me, and this is going to change too, like my toolkit's ever evolving, right? Like it definitely changes. It's been 20 years of me trying to meditate, literally 20 years trying. And in about 6 months ago, it stuck. Like it really stuck.
Really?
And now if I go 2 or 3 days without it, I feel so like spinny. Like I just feel so spinny. So that's going to be the first thing that I'm going to go to is like, wait, have you done this? Like, I say to myself all the time, what are your non-negotiables? So now meditation's on that list. Meditation's a non-negotiable. Water is a non-negotiable for me. I am so thirsty all the time. But when I'm really out of balance or busy or crazy, it's also the first thing that goes.
Yeah.
So I have to bring that piece in, right? And then what I also do is I really simplify my food. I just make it super, super simple. So as much as I love creating in the kitchen and like I'm always developing recipes and this new thing and that new thing, when I'm out of balance, I go back to my absolute basics. It's almost always a soup of some kind. There's always a like a sweet potato or a butternut squash. There's that kind of like sweet vegetable because that feels like home nourishing to me. So I'm going to come back to those sort of principles. Simplify food. Did you meditate? How much water did you drink?
That's a great thing to get back on track. I love it.
Yeah.
No, like that could change for you because you're ever evolving. Like right now, that's what it is, and it could change for you.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate to cut this short, ladies. We're almost out of time. We got 3 minutes.
Woo, woo, woo.
So, Abra, tell everyone where they can follow you.
Yes.
Sure. So on Instagram, it's Abra Pappa. It's 2 P's in Papa, P-A-P-P-A. And you can follow me on my website, Abra's Kitchen. I have a food blog where I share all of my fun recipes. And you can also navigate then to my practice website, which is just my name, abrapappa.com.
Love it. And y'all, the Instagram's gorgeous. I mean, beautiful recipes. Like y'all have to follow along because it's just absolutely beautiful.
I love it. Love it. It's fun stuff.
Thank you for coming on.
Thank you, ladies. This was so fun.
Our post-interview cigarette.
God, our cigarette. Ashley, I smoked a lot at ACL. I wasn't smoking cigarettes.
You old sailor.
I shared a cigarette. Well, I shared a vape with Foxtrot, and she was so annoyed with me because she wasn't so annoyed, but I was like, the first time I bought a vape, I bought it by color, and I was like, oh, it's my color. I'm really into green right now, like a deep Kelly green, and so I bought it by color, and it was like extremely strong. Like it gave me it literally said like extra strength, and so I did it again. I went and I bought the watermelon because Foxtrot was like, get the same one, so I was like, this one, it was extra light, but it was fine. But it was so
Three
fun.
little bears,
I know
baby.
it's bad for you, but I was like, it was just for the weekend, and I was just like, I'm not gonna feel guilty.
Yeah.
There's
no reason to feel
no
guilty.
reason,
Amelie
yeah.
says so too. Amelie just came up here.
she's
I'm alive.
gorgeous.
Hi, baby girl. Do you, y'all? That's the moral of the story. This episode, be good to yourself, eat well, treat yourself, enjoy fucking life. That was the biggest takeaway,
Enjoy
right?
life. Yeah, what's right for you, which is I feel like that resonates so much with what we're trying to do with this podcast. Honestly, it's kind of like everybody has something to say about how you should live your life, but how do you want to do it? How do you want to feel?
With the goddamn
You get to design your fucking life. How do you want to feel in it? How do you want to feel in your body?
It's so true.
That was emo. We got emo there for a second.
How do you want to feel? That's my emo take.
I like it.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, like and subscribe to All Things Mashley Comedy. We're on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, all of the things.
All the things.
Keep up to date because Mandy is going to be transformed like a papillon. She's getting her hair done and it's going to look fucking amazing. And I'm trying to think if there's anything else to plug. I think that is it.
That's it for now.
Yeah.
We're about to get into some stuff though. Like, I'm excited.
Oh, yeah.
Ashley has some stuff planned. Here we go.
Here we go.
We love you, Mashers. Thank you so much. Send it to your friends, please. We need you. We are getting so close to, we have a goal, and we're gonna have a party. I don't even know but like when we hit 10,000 unique downloads, which we're getting really close.
We're getting close.
We're gonna we should have like a party. We should
I
have
know.
like a Mashley party.
It's like a 10K party.
Yeah,
Let's
we
go,
should.
baby.
Yeah. Did you see? Sorry, one last thing. I saw this really funny meme where this girl was like celebrating 20K. It was 20K unread emails.
I love that for her. Like, yep, bye.
Note, go MGO your Gmail.
Yeah, it's so true.
Love
Clean
you.
them up. Bye-bye.
Bye.